शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे आजानुलम्बित भुजो कनकावदातौ संकीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्बरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालो वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रसुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। माताकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। Who is one word? Yeah. So every Ekadashi day we recite from the Prabhupada Lilamrita and remember the sacrifices of Srila Prabhupada. So you can switch off that fan, I think, so it will not make noise. Welcome all of you for the morning class today. Who is going to read that? You can read, Prabhu? Yes, please. Starting from here.
So the controversy is now closed, and there is no need of help from anyone else. We are not always successful in our attempts at teaching work, but such failures are certainly not ludicrous. In the absolute field, both success and failure are glorious. Even Lord Nityananda pretended to be a failure at converting Jagai Madai in the first attempt. Rather, he was personally injured in such an attempt, but that was certainly not ludicrous. The whole thing was transcendental, and it was glorious for all the parties concerned. If Krishna consciousness were ever to take hold in America, it would have to be without assistance from the Indian government or Indian financiers. Not even a lone Indian brahmachari would join him. Krishna was revealing his plan to Prabhupada in a different way. Within the Singhaniya sanctioned schemes, finished and behind him, Prabhupada would turn all his energy toward the young men and women coming to him in his brewery loft. He wrote to Srimati Muraji, "I am now trying to incorporate one corporation of the local friends and admirers under the name International Society for Krishna Consciousness Incorporated." Of all his friends and admirers, Prabhupada gave his roommate, David Allen, the most personal attention and training.
Okay. So, once I took this section and gave a title, 8 defeats that Prabhupada faced in America in starting ISKCON society. How many defeats? 8 defeats. Now you can count and see, let us see, I am able to recollect all the 8. The first one was, 1 year Prabhupada tried to preach, but there was not much response. Then he understood that boys and girls, they're coming, going, nobody is sticking on. it will be nice to have a temple, just like Attapur, you have a nice temple here. So then people can stay here and go out on Sankirtan. This is like a battalion. Huh? Is it? So devotees can stay here, take prasad, attend the morning program, go out and come back. So I need a base like this, Prabhupada thought, so that whoever is coming to me to become devotees, they should stick on with me and not go away. At that time, I was thinking in New York to make a temple, it will require some money, at least about 5 to 10 lakhs at least in those days. He just wanted a hall like this to start with. And when he was searching, he got one Mr. Hartman. He had 2 floors, ground floor and first floor. Prabhupada exactly wanted that. He liked it very much, so he rented it out. And he was paying the rent, but he wanted to purchase it. So he asked him, how much is the cost? He said, 7 lakh rupees, he said. Prabhupada thought, wonderful. So now who will give me this donation of 7 lakhs to buy that? So in India, there was a Padambat Singhania, a donor, who was actually thinking of making a temple in New York. So Prabhupada was so happy. He wants to make a temple and I already got a place. Just to give the donation to me and I can buy this place. And then on your behalf, I will run this temple. We don't mind putting your name outside. Like that Prabhupada said. But then Padambat Singhania wasn't very happy with that idea. He said, you are going to take, you are going to take the old building, ground floor, first floor. I would like to make a small temple which will be highly artistic with sculptural details. You have seen in India sometimes temples are small with lot of details of sculpture. He wanted something like that. Prabhupada was wondering how to convince this man to give donation to buy the temple. Prabhupada said, okay, let us make a very, ornate gopuram. So Prabhupada said, you are a Dwaraka wala, I am a Vrindavan wala. Prabhupada said, I don't have money, you have money. So let us take these 2 halls, 2 floors, and then make a gopuram. You can design it as much as you want. What do you think? But somehow Padambat Singhania didn't agree. All are comfortable in English or should I speak in Hindi? English? And Hindi just, कितने लोग हिंदी में चाहे हाथ ऊपर कीजिए देख लेते हैं कितने? Almost there are about 15-20 people are there, I think, at least. Daily you have in which language only? English, is it? Somebody can translate for these people? What I will speak will be very simple. Somebody can translate it. Otherwise they will not be able to understand what I am saying. Tell in Hindi only? But there are some who may not understand Hindi, no? Anybody here doesn't know Hindi? We have one devotee, Balagopal Post, come from Los Angeles, yes, come. Anybody else doesn't know Hindi? All know Hindi here?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Does everyone understand Hindi here?
No, Hindi means...
Hindi, does everyone understand? Is there someone who doesn't understand Hindi?
They don't know Hindi.
So
How
only
many
3.
are there? Oh, that is almost 10 also. There are about 10, 12.
So same number.
Huh?
Almost same number.
Is it? So for one of the 2 you have to translate. Which one?
Yeah, you can flow with English project. Hindi will translate.
Okay. जिनको हिंदी में सुना थोड़ा पीछे बैठ जाइए प्रभु जी.
So Hindi, Radhakandru is translating backside, so they can go there. So class will be in English.
Yes. Yeah. So Padambat Singhania was not ready to release. Prabhupada said, see, you want to make a temple in 50 lakh rupees and I want only how much? 7 lakh. At least give me 7 lakh, you do what you want. He was neither giving that 7 lakh and nor ready to buy this building also. So Prabhupada thought what to do. But he didn't become upset with Padambat Singhania. He thought right now he's not giving, later on when I go to India I'll meet him, make him inspired and then he'll give, he thought. Then he went to Hartman and Prabhupada told Hartman that, sir, I will make you one of the directors of ISKCON society. I'm starting a new society. You can also be one of the board of directors. So, if you can be one of the directors and give me this building free of cost for using, and we will pay the tax. Anyway, you are not able to sell it now. Nobody is buying from you. we will pay the tax, because otherwise if you don't occupy this place, nobody will give you money and you have to pay the tax. Now it will be tax free for you, you pay the tax and you become directors of ISKCON. Hartman said, either you buy it in 7 lakh or you vacate. So Hartman was heartless. You know, he was like that. So that was the second defeat. What is the first defeat? Parampat Singhania didn't give money. Second defeat, Hartman was not ready to accept Prabhupada's request. Then third thing, Prabhupada called up Mumbai. In Mumbai there was a universal book depot and they had taken Prabhupada books for distributing. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and all. Prabhupada called them and said, hey, I don't have money, my money is running out in America. So can you send me the money, whatever books are sold till now? And Prabhupada said, instead of making you, my dealer for only Mumbai, I am ready to make you dealer for the whole of Maharashtra. And if you do well, I will make you dealer for whole of India also. But then reply came from them saying that, Swamiji, these spiritual books are not of interest to the youths. They are not buying your books. In fact, we were thinking of giving you back the books, they said. That was the third defeat. No money. So they could not give money to Prabhupada also. Then Prabhupada thought what to do. Then he wrote one letter to Sumati Morarji saying that I am in America now, I am preaching nicely, many boys girls are coming now. The only thing is for them to stay, I don't have a facility. So for your Balagopal, I am going to make a temple in America. So why he used the word Balagopal? Because Balagopal is very dear to Sumati Morarji. She is from that kind of family, a Pushtimark family. So for your Balagopal, I am making a temple in America. Can you please help in, funds for making the temple? And also Prabhupada said, you gave me ticket to come to America in the Jaladuta. Like that, if you can give some more tickets for some more Indian Gaudiya Math people to come in case they wish to come, can you give them tickets? And there was no more reply from Sumati Morarji. This is which defeat, third or fourth? Fourth, yeah. First was Padma Singhania, then the second was Hartman, third was Universal Book Depot, and the fourth was the Sumati Maharaj. Then fifth, Prabhupada thought, he told Tirtha Maharaj that, I want some mridangams from India. Can you please arrange to send the mridangams? I only have that round one. What do you call that? Jambe is little. Bongo I think. Yeah, bongo I think. I'm using, but I want a mridangam from India. Can you please send it? Another thing he asked was, can you also meet the Prime Minister of India and get permission for sending some donations from India to here so that I can build the temple in America? He asked that time. And there was no reply from Tirtha Maharaj also. He was waiting, there was no reply. Then Lal Bahadur Shastri at that time was PM. Yeah. And Prabhupada had given him the 4 copies of Srimad Bhagavatam to him, the first 4 editions. And Lal Bahadur Shastri was very appreciative of Prabhupada's style of purport. He said, Swamiji, nobody has given such a nice English purports. We only have in Sanskrit everything. I like your writing, he had told. So Prabhupada kept in mind. So he told that when Lal Bahadur Shastri is going to Russia, when he would come to America, then I will request him to release the funds from India to come here so that I can make temple in America, he was thinking. But unfortunately, Lal Bahadur Shastri passed away in Russia. That was which defeat? Fifth or sixth? That is fifth, yeah. And including Tirtha Maharaj, it is sixth. Correct, no? Yeah. Now, then after that, Indira Gandhi became Prime Minister. So Tirtha Maharaj went to check with her and she said, if he wants to build temple there, let him locally collect and make the temple in America. We cannot let any funds go from here, she said. That was another defeat, Indira Gandhi defeat. So that was also a defeat. Then finally, Prabhupada was wondering, money is also not coming and no Gaudiya Math person is sending anybody. I don't have any help. How will I do anything in America? Then one Mukti Brahmachari wrote a letter to Prabhupada saying that, Swamiji, I am considering to come to America to assist you in your preaching to Americans. So if you can arrange for my visa and everything, I will come, he said. Prabhupada said, wait a minute. You see, I am very happy that you are willing to come. Did you take permission from your spiritual master? So Mukti Brahmachari said, no, not yet. Prabhupada said, first take permission and then if he allows you, then you can come. And your Guru Maharaj is also my god brother only. So we both are disciples of Bhaktivedanta Attapur. So he will happily allow you. And if you come, it will be a great help for me. I am an old man, I need some help. You are being a young brahmachari, running around, you can do. It's very nice. Check with your spiritual master, he said. So Mukti Brahmachari asked, can I first come to America and then check with my Guru? He asked, I will inform him. Prabhupada said, no. It's best that you better first take his blessing and permission and then you can come. So then he went to his Guru. His Guru told him, this Swami Maharaj means Prabhupada, for them they call Swami Maharaj. This Swami Maharaj is wasting his time in America, he said. You know, these Americans are all mlechas, they're all eating cow flesh and everything, drinking, smoking and all. We should not waste time with that. Swamiji is old also, better that he stays in Vrindavan and does his bhajan. Why is he going to a place like America where people are not going to accept this? And he told his disciple, you don't go and waste your time there. No? Then this Mukti Brahmachari wrote one letter to Prabhupada saying that, my Guru Maharaj says that your attempt to preach in America is ridiculous, he wrote. Ridiculous means it's funny, it's useless. You are going to a wrong place to preach. There are no people there who will be interested in this. At that time, Prabhupada said this one, what we read just now. Prabhupada said that, you know, you are calling my attempt as ridiculous. In fact, your comment about my preaching in America, that is ridiculous. Why? Because even Lord Nityananda tried to preach to Jagai and Madai. In the first go, he was defeated. Because Jagai and Madai drove them away, correct, no? Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they both had gone. Jagai and Madai came to beat them and they both ran away. And went and reported to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that today we tried to preach to some drunkards. And the second attempt, Madai took the pot and hit Nityananda Prabhu. And then it was bleeding. And then Nityananda Prabhu fell to the ground. And the devotees ran to Mahaprabhu and complained. And Mahaprabhu came there and you evoked the Sudarshan Chakra to cut off the heads of Jagai and Madai, correct, no? At that time, Nityananda Prabhu came in between and begged Mahaprabhu to forgive them. And then they were awarded eventually with love of God. And then both these fellows, Jagai and Madai, became Jagadananda Madhavananda, the great pure devotees, lovers of God. So Prabhupada said this example and said, in the path of Vaishnava life, preaching, success and failure are same. Because any devotee goes out to raise funds or to preach or distribute books, that going out itself is successful. Whether you are able to successfully do it or not, people received a book or not, people gave money or not, you are going itself successful. One day in Jew temple, Prabhupada saw that it was pin drop silence at 6 o'clock. Prabhupada came out of his quarters, he asked, why devotees are not doing kirtan today? So, where is Giriraj? Prabhupada asked. So then one devotee came and said, Prabhupada, today 4 or 5 devotees went out from morning to evening, 8 hours they went. Not a single donor gave a single penny today. So all devotees are very morose. So then Prabhupada called the devotees and said, you see, you have gone out and told about Krishna to them. So in your account Krishna has already noted it. That you went out and you glorified Krishna. So you got the score already. And those fellows who didn't donate, they should be morose, not you. Because by not donating to Krishna, who is the loser? They are the loser. Why should you guys be morose? Your job is like, Krishna told Arjuna, fighting is your duty, results are not in your hands. Like that small squirrel put some little stone and immediately Lord Rama glorified it. You make your effort. So after having heard this, devotees came to temple hall, they were jumping, dancing, happily doing kirtan. If Prabhupada is happy, we are happy. Prabhupada didn't ask why you didn't bring money, at least made an endeavor. So Prabhupada said similarly that I am making an effort to preach in America, in a foreign land where people have different culture and everything. This attempt itself is pleasing to the Lord. This can never be ridiculous. Even Lord Nityananda eventually was successful. Similarly, if Nityananda wishes, he will make me eventually successful. So this was Prabhupada's mood, which means he was really like a fighter. He was never to give up. One city when Prabhupada went, he said, oh, this city is full of ignorance and people are so hard like stone, he said. And then one disciple asked Prabhupada, so Prabhupada, should we leave the city and go to the next city? Prabhupada said, that doesn't mean we are going to leave these guys. He said, we are going to preach here. Just because it is hard doesn't mean we are going to leave. He was really a fighter. Go ahead. Yeah.
He felt he was giving David a special chance to become America's first genuine Vaishnava. Prabhupada would eventually return to India and he wanted to take David to Vrindavan. He would show his temple worship and train him for future preaching in the West. He had requested Sumati Morarji to provide free passage for David as well as for himself. You will be pleased to see this American boy. He is coming of a good family and is a sincere soul. To this line of culture, there are others also in the class I am holding here, but I wish to take with me only one of them. I am very glad to say, Prabhupada said one evening in his lecture, that our Mr. Davis says sometimes, Swamiji, I want to increase my spiritual life immediately. Prabhupada laughed as he imitated Davis' urgency. Take patience, take patience. I tell him, it will be done, of course. When you have got such a desire, God will help you. He is within you. He is simply trying to see how sincere you are. Then He will give you all opportunities to increase your spiritual life. At first, David and the Swami lived together peacefully in the large hall. The Swami working concentratedly on his side of the partition, David raging throughout the large open space. David, however, continued taking marijuana, LSD, and amphetamines, and Prabhupada had no choice but to tolerate it. Several times he told David that drugs and hallucination would not help his spiritual life. But David would took distracted. He was become estranged from the Swami. But Prabhupada had a plan to use the loft as a temple, to transform it into New York's first temple of Radha Krishna. And he wanted David's cooperation. Although the neighborhood was one of the most miserable in the world, Prabhupada talked of bringing deities from Jaipur or Vrindavan and starting temple worship, even on the Bowery. He thought David might help. After all, they were roommates, so there could be no question of David's not cooperating, but he would have to give up his bad habits. Prabhupada was trying to help David, but David was too disturbed. He was headed for disaster, and so were Prabhupada's plans for the loft. Sometimes, even not under the influence of a drug, he would pace around the loft. Other times, he appeared to be deep in thought. One day, on a dose of LSD, he went completely crazy. As Carl and put it, he just flapped out and the Swami had to deal with a crazy man. Things had been leading to this. He was a crazy kid who always took too much. But the real madness happened suddenly.
So, I told you 8 situations where Prabhupada faced defeat. But he didn't decide that I will leave America and go back to India and settle in Vrindavan again. He didn't decide like that. He decided to depend on Krishna's protection. He said, no, Ananyas chintayanto mam yejana padyupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshamam mahamnaham. Let me depend on Krishna for protection. If nobody helps me, imagine if you are punched on the nose 8 times, what you will do? Imagine in boxing, 8 times you are punched on the face. Will you try again? So we have to learn from Prabhupada, when going gets tough, the tough get going. Repeat? Going gets tough, the tough get going. So Prabhupada, Prahalad, all these are examples. Pandavas, when going gets tough, the tough devotees get going. They'll never give up. So that's one of the determination of a pure devotee. Pure devotees will never give up. They will be ready for any amount of slaps, kicks, whips come in this world. They will never give up practicing chanting, preaching, endeavoring to please Krishna. And that is what pleases. Even Krishna is amazed seeing the devotees surrender. My Lord, this devotee never gives up devotion service. The other people, if there is a little problem at home, they give up chanting. That's the first thing they give up. Correct, no? Parents are angry with me, so I stopped chanting. But they will be watching movies, they will be eating food, everything will go on. Only spiritual compromise they will do. Whereas pure devotees, they will never give up. So why did Krishna allow Prabhupada to get defeated 8 times, including the last Mukti Brahmachari couldn't come? His Holiness Satyabhadas Maharaj writes there, saying that Krishna purposefully stripped away Prabhupada of all the help so that the entire credit of establishing ISKCON society in America can be given only to Prabhupada. That is Krishna's plan. Therefore, Krishna did not allow anyone to support him. Krishna wanted to show, look at my pure devotee, how much is he surrendered. The full credit, 100% credit was given to Prabhupada. Single-handedly he started this society in America. Now, at that time, there was one boy called David. This boy had a loft and he had put one screen. One side he told Prabhupada, Swamiji, you can live on that side and I will live on this side. And he was very interested. Like David was asking Prabhupada, how can I quickly progress? How can I come to Prema? Krishna Prem. And Prabhupada smiled. Prabhupada said, wonderful, your eagerness is very good. At the same time, you have to go step by step. It's like if LKG child want to get a doctorate degree immediately. How to get doctorate? Go from LKG, UKG, 5th standard, 10th standard, 12th standard, then gradually, MA, PhD, eventually you can come to PhD. But Prabhupada was writing to his god brothers saying that there is one boy called David. I will make him the first Vaishnava in America. I'll make him a role model devotee so that many other Americans will be inspired to take to Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada thought that loft where he was staying, he thought of converting it into a first temple because he had no other place. He thought, I'll establish an altar and then people can be called there. And so Prabhupada had dreams, spiritual dreams. But suddenly one day, again this fellow reverted back to the old habit. Who? David. He started eating marijuana without Prabhupada's knowledge. Prabhupada saw that he started eating. Prabhupada corrected him, hey, don't go back to this. The old habits are coming like the dog's tail, you know that. Dog's tail, you put it in a pipe. After 10 years, you remove it. It'll go like this. Correct, no? Again, going back to old habits. One day, Prabhupada saw some hippies who had shaved up and they became nice devotees and all. Again, when they were keeping long hair, that Siddha Swarupananda and Gaur Sundar Das, Prabhupada disciples, in Hawaii. Prabhupada said, you guys are again coming back to the old habit. Prabhupada was very upset. And one fellow was telling Prabhupada, but Swamiji, Jesus also had long hair. Even Lord Chaitanya had long hair. Why can't we also have a long hair? What is the problem? Prabhupada said, who told you about Lord Chaitanya? They said, Prabhupada, you only told us. Look at my hairstyle. So you have to follow me, he said. Lord Chaitanya is supreme enjoyer. He can keep long hair. We are monks, we should shave up. Then that fellow shaved up after that. So, in this way, Prabhupada saw that the David not only went berserk, he went crazy. He broke the typewriter of Prabhupada. And he came to kill Prabhupada. Can you imagine? He came to attack Prabhupada. I was shouting. His face was looking very ghastly. Early morning, one day, Prabhupada had to take his trunk and get off from the loft and run away from that place. And then when Prabhupada says, when I came out of that building, I didn't know whether to turn right or left. Why? Because I had no other place to go. He was practically, in Vrindavan, he was a respectable gentleman who was staying in Radha Damodar temple. He had a very nice facility there. He was given a room also, he was staying. And he could take darshan of Radha Damodar and go to the samadhis of Rup Sanatan and Jiva Goswami. He lived a very peaceful and happy life, writing literature and everything. And being a very senior Vaishnava, so many people would offer him obeisances and respect him. Leaving that respectable position in Vrindavan, here he is coming to America where he is actually going to be attacked by a drug addict and driven away in the street. And he is carrying a trunk, old man, and he doesn't know where to turn away. So he's wondering, where will I go now? So here he was like an anath. See, why we have to hear this important pastimes? Because, how Prabhupada utilized his old age to completely depend on Krishna. Many a times we get proper prasadam, our room, accommodation, our smartphone, everything we get, and we take everything for granted. Because all facilities are there. We find it difficult to depend on Krishna, correct or not? When we are thrown in the street, then we can depend. So Prabhupada had nowhere to go. Where will I go? Where will I stay? Who will accommodate me? Then at that time he thought of one fellow now that is going to come now. What is his name? Carol and Eva, I think. And that is going to come now next. He will find out one place. Go ahead. Yeah.
Swamiji was working peacefully at his typewriter when David freaked out. David started moaning and pacing around the large open area of the loft. Then he began yelling, howling, and running all around. He went back to where the Swami was. Suddenly, Prabhupada found himself face to face not with David, nice David, whom he was going to take to India to show the Brahmanas in Vrindavan, but a drugged, wild-eyed stranger, a madman. Prabhupada tried to speak to him. What is the matter? But David had nothing to say. There was no particular disagreement, just madness. Prabhupada moved quickly down the 4 flights of stairs. He had not stopped to gather any of his belongings or even to decide where he would go or whether he would return. There had been no time to consider anything. He had taken quite a shock, and now he was leaving the arena of David's madness. The usual group of bums were sitting in the doorway, and with their customary flourish of courtesy, they allowed him to pass. They were used to the elderly Swamis coming in and out, going shopping and returning, and they didn't bother him. But he was not going shopping today. Where was he going? He didn't know. He had to come onto the street without knowing where he would go. He wasn't going back to the loft, that was for sure, but where could he go? The pigeons flew from roof to roof, traffic rumbled by, and ever-present bums loitered around, getting drunker on cheap, poisonous alcohol. Although Prabhupada's home had suddenly become an insane terror, the street at its door was also a hellish, dangerous place. He was shaken. He could call Dr. Mishra and they might take him in, but that chapter of his life was over and he had gone on to something better. He had his own classes, young people chanting and hearing. Was it all over now? After 9 months in America, he had finally gotten a good response to his preaching and kirtan. He couldn't just quit now. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, whom everyone knew and respected in Vrindavan as a distinguished scholar and devotee, who had opened invitation to see the Vice President of India and many other notables, had now had to face starkly that he had not one friend in stature in the United States. Suddenly, he was a homeless and a derelict on the street. In fact, many of them, with their long time berths in flop houses, were more secure than he. They were ruined but settled. The Bowery could be chaotic hell if you were on a purposeful errand, going directly to the store or back to your place. It was no place to stand wondering where you will live or is there a friend you can turn to. He wasn't on his way to Chinatown to shop, nor was he taking a little stroll, soon to return to the shelter of the loft. If he couldn't go to the loft, he had no place. How difficult it was becoming to preach in America amid these crazy people. He had written prophetically in his poem, the day he had arrived in Boston Harbor, "My Lord, I do not know why you have brought me here. Now you can do with me whatever you like, but I guess you have some business here. Otherwise, why would you bring me to this terrible place?" What about his scheduled classes? What about David? Should he go back and try to talk to the boy? This had been David's first fit of violence, but there had been other tense moments. David had a habit of leaving the soap on the floor of the shower stall, and Prabhupada had asked him not to do so because it was a hazard, but David wouldn't listen. Prabhupada had continued to remind him, and one day David had gotten angry and shouted at him, but there was no real enmity. Even today's incident had not been a matter of personal differences. The boy was a victim. Prabhupada walked quickly. He had free passage on the Scindia line. He could go home to Vrindavan, but his spiritual master had ordered him to come here. By the strong desire of Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he had written, while crossing the Atlantic, the holy name of Lord Gauranga will spread throughout all the countries of the Western world. Before nightfall, he would have to find some place to stay, a way to keep up the momentum of his preaching. This is what is meant to be working without government sponsorship, without the support of any religious organization, without a patron. It meant being vulnerable and insecure. Prabhupada faced the crisis as a test from Krishna. The instruction of Bhagavad Gita was to depend on Krishna for protection. In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. You will pass over all the obstacles of conditional life by my grace. He decided to phone Carl Jürgens and ask him to help. Hearing the
So, Matchitta sarvadurgani mat prasadat tarishyasi atachetva mahankaram na shroshasi vinangshasi. Krishna says in the Gita, Matchitta sarvadurgani mat prasadat tarishyasi. By depending on me, you can very easily cross over all the difficulties in life. Matchitta. Matchitta means by offering your heart and mind to me. Sarva Durgani means all kinds of difficulties and obstacles. Mat prasadat, by my mercy, tarishyasi, you can easily cross over. Krishna says that. So Prabhupada had a firm faith in Krishna's promise. So what was the problem exactly for Prabhupada? If you see, it's like bringing water and fire together. Because Prabhupada is like a fiery Vaishnava who is serious in chanting and study of the scriptures and pure devotee. Coming to the West, he wants to give Vaishnava philosophy, proper philosophy of Parodharma, love of God. He is floating in the highest plane of Vishuddha Sattva. And here are these fellows, hippies, who are in the lowest modes of drinking, smoking, drugs and illicit sex and leading very unclean lives. There was one Randy who came to meet Prabhupada. He had a long jata beginning from here touching the ground. Can you imagine? Such a long jata, and his whole body Randy's body was sandy, full of dirt, and his body was stinking because 20 days he had not taken bath. So such kinds of people he had to deal with, derelitics, drug addicts and people like that. And they are breaking all the regulative principles. That's why I told you, they are like water and Prabhupada is like fire. Either the fire has to evaporate the water or the water will douse the fire. Of course, being a pure devotee, he evaporated those tendencies eventually by his powerful preaching. But when you bring people of two different culture in the same place, it's going to lead to problems, correct or not? Like somebody is in Tamaguna, he will pass urine and he will not wash the feet. Somebody is in Sattaguna, when he sees somebody after passing urine is roaming in the room without washing feet, it will be very difficult for you to tolerate, isn't it? But so Prabhupada as a Swami tolerated all these hippies, naughty nature. He felt that they are like children in Krishna consciousness. So he was ready to tolerate their impurities and everything and still give Krishna to them. That takes really a very, very noble heart and a big heart of a Mahatma devotee. So he tolerated David for a while, but then the thing went beyond limits now. Because he is coming to attack Prabhupada. He is going crazy. Again, he has gone back to drugs again. So Prabhupada was thinking that if he obeys me and agrees to follow the 4 regulative principles, no illicit sex, no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, then he can become a great Vaishnava. The chance was there for David, but David didn't stick to that pure plane. So therefore Prabhupada is now getting out of that place. What happened? Where he went next? Carl. Read that? Yeah.
He decided to phone call Carl Jürgens and ask him to help. Hearing the Swami's voice on the phone, it was an emergency. Carl at once agreed that Prabhupada could move in with him and his wife Eva. Their place was close by and on Center Street, 5 blocks west of Bowery near Chinatown. Carl would be right over. After Carl found Prabhupada, they went straight to Carl's place, an AIR loft smaller than the one of Prabhupada had been living in. It had a main living area, large and open, with areas for the kitchen and bedroom partitioned off. There were decorative the kitchen and the bedroom. There were decorative indoor plants and a profusion of throw pillows placed all around. Carl's loft was much brighter than the dinghy. Factory like space in the loft on the Bowery. The floor was painted bright orange. Carl used to say it looked like the deck of a ship. The walls and the ceiling were white, and the light from the seven skylight filled the room. Carl and Eva settled the Swami in one corner. Prabhupada had left his belonging at David's loft and didn't want to go back, so Carl went over to pick up a few essential items. Prabhupada asked him to leave most of his things, including his books, suitcases, and reel to reel tape recorder, where there were. Although by this time, David had come down from the intense effects of the LSD, he remained crazy. When Carl arrived at the loft, the door was locked and David was inside, afraid to let anyone in. Although finally he relented, he had shut and locked all the windows, making the loft oppressively hot and stuffy. Bill Epstein, who also came by that day, analyzed David as having had a drug-induced nervous breakdown, a narcophysiologist. And although David was sorry, he had exploded at the Swami. Neither Bill nor Carl thought Prabhupada should live with David again. Apparently, Prabhupada's chances of making the loft into a Radha Krishna temple were finished. Carl and Bill gathered up a few of the Swami's belongings and David stayed behind in the loft. He wanted to be alone. Carl Yunges knew Prabhupada living habits and wanted to accommodate him with a suitable place to live and work. In a small alcove at one end of his loft, Carl had a small study, which he allocated for the Swami. Carl also set up a cushioned dais and arranged the living room around it so that guests could sit on the floor in a semicircle. Carl's wife, who didn't really like the idea of a Swami moving in, agreed to cover a few cushions with Indian Madras material for him anyway. Things went smoothly for a while. Prabhupada continued his morning and evening classes, and many of the Bowery hip crowd came by. Three of his regular callers lived right on the same building, and a few others, including Carl's brother, were just around the block. Michael Grant, James Greene, and David Allen came once. Don Nathanson, an artist. It was a Carl's loft and the Swami comes strolling in one day. So I already knew he was on the scene from David's. Mostly musicians were coming. They were enjoying the private morning session with him. And that's really strange in itself because these people were up almost all night. And he used to do it at 6 in the morning for 1 hour. He would lead them in the chanting with his hand cymbals. Dot dot da dot dot da. It was strange because that crowd was heavy into drugs and they were well read. But for a short period, they used to go every morning, 9 or 10 of them, and they felt very good about it. They felt very good that they did that in the morning. Carl felt that the creative group who came to see the Swami in his studio were all quick to enter into the mood of the Kirtana. They were using it in their own ways to supplement their own private vision and ecstasies, with no real intention of adoption the disciplines or the undivided worship of the Lord Krishna. Prabhupada was their first real contact with a spiritual person, And yet, even without trying to understand, they became absorbed in his kirtan and in what they had to say. Carl would invite them, "Hey, come on, this is genuine, this is real. You will like it. It's music, it's dance, it's celebration." Carl saw that people just felt good being in the Swami's presence and meditating on the chanting and eating the Swami's cooking. It was unlike anything they had experienced before, except maybe for their moments of creative insight. Yet for Carl and Eva, Prabhupada's simple presence created difficulty. Never before during his whole stay in America had he been a more inconvenient or unwanted guest. Carl's studio was arranged for him and his wife to live in alone, using the bedroom, kitchen, and living room any way they liked. If they wanted to smoke marijuana or eating meat or whatever, that was their prerogative. This was Carl's home. He lived there with his wife Eva and their dogs and cats, but now they had to share it with the Swami. Almost at once, the situation became intolerable for Eva. She resented the Swami's presence in her home. She was feminist, a liberated white woman with a black husband and a good job. She didn't like the Swami's views on women. She hadn't read his books and attended his classes. But she had heard that he was opposed to sexual intercourse except for conceiving children, and that in his view was a woman was supposed to be shy and chaste and help her husband in spiritual life. She knew about the Swami's four rules: no meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication, or gambling. And she definitely did not want Carl's Swami trying to change their ways to suit his. And he had better not expect her to wait on him. As his servant, she sensed the Swami objecting to almost everything she did. If she were to seek his advice, he would probably ask her to stop taking drugs, get rid out of the cats and dogs, stop drinking, and stop contraceptive sex. If the Swami had his way, they would probably eat only at certain times and only certain foods. Eva was a heavy smoker, so he probably wouldn't like being around her. She was ready for a confrontation. But Prabhupada was not one to make intolerant demands while living in another's home. He kept to his allotted corner of the loft, and he made no demands of or criticism. Hadn't he seen his host in the butler eating meat and only remarked, quote, "Think nothing of it." Nevertheless, imposing spiritual presence made Eva sorry Carl had ever met him. To Eva, the Swami was an inimical force, and she, being candid and independent, let him know. As soon as he asked whether she could bring him something, she replied, "Get it yourself." Carol Baker saw the situation in being extremely uncomfortable and tense. Eva was quite resentful. Eva complained to Carol. Here she was paying rent for the loft, working hard, and this man was trying to change their way of life. Carol, Eva couldn't handle his teachings and she couldn't handle his influence over Carl. She didn't feel so constrained, but she felt the Swami Ji was making Carl feel constrained. This was Eva's main objection. The Swami was influencing Carl. Her relationship with Carl and only recently began. And Carl was aware that she needed much of his time. He agreed with his wife, yet he couldn't refuse the Swami. He was interested in Indian music, poetry, and religions. And here was a living authority, vastly knowledgeable in all facets of Indian culture, right in his home. Prabhupada would cook his meal in their kitchen, and right away Carl would be there, eager to learn the art of Indian cuisine. Carl also wanted the Swami to show him how to play the drum. They would have long talks together.
You see, Carl and Eva, opposite type of personalities, their husband-wife. Carl is interested to learn Indian philosophy, He wants to learn mridanga, kartal, singing. He has many, many questions about philosophy and life. He wants to sit with Swamiji hours and hours and talk. And he thought himself very blessed and fortunate that Swamiji is staying in my home and I can take advantage. But his wife was just the opposite. Because Eva, see, this is like materialism and spirituality staying together. She had a, that is why even in marriage also we say yatha ruchi yatha mati. Yatha ruchi means a taste. If a boy has a material taste and girl also has a material taste, that will be a very happy family. Or a boy has a spiritual taste and wife also has a spiritual taste. That is also a very happy family. But if one of the two has a spiritual taste, another one has material taste, it's a little, pull and push will be there. So in the case of Carl and Eva, Eva was having a material taste. She actually thought that, oh, the Swamiji says wife should be submissive to the husband and she should wear a Vedic dress like sari and then you should not eat meat or drink wine or smoke cigarettes, and you should not eat meat. So she was afraid that if these things are going to be introduced in my home, there will be disruption of all my old habits. She was not ready for it. Plus, there were classes going on in the flat. People would come. She thought, oh, it's a loss of privacy for us. Why should an old man come and live here? You see, here comes a very important point. There is a cultural clash between Prabhupada versus this Kaliya family. So whenever we face cultural clash, what we should do, we should learn from Prabhupada. So Prabhupada understood that there is a clash of interest. I am a spiritual person and they are little materialistic people. There is a clash. So Prabhupada was sober and Prabhupada was calm and Prabhupada did not unnecessarily make demands. One time when he asked her, can you get this for me? She said, you only buy it yourself. Prabhupada understood, okay, she is not in a good mood. The word resentment means hatred. Resentment means hatred. So disturbance, agitation, anger, resentment we call it. The 4th degree anger. So she was very upset with this old man coming and staying in the house. So Prabhupada understood that she doesn't like me staying here. How painful it will be for you to stay in someone's home who don't want you. Think about it. But Prabhupada thought, right now I don't have another place to go. So he was very polite with her, very careful in dealing with her. He tolerated her smoking and drinking and everything. He saw her smoking, he didn't say a word. In the same manner, when Prabhupada was staying in Sally Agarwal and Gopal Agarwal in their home, Prabhupada opened the fridge to keep his tomato, potato. There he found the fishes were also kept. Meat was kept in the same fridge. And he had no other place to keep. One of the days Prabhupada was sitting and doing some writing. In the hall they had put a table where they had a party, kitty party, where they were smoking, drinking, and laughing, joking. Prabhupada didn't speak anything. He just sat in a corner and he was doing his writing peacefully. And when she would be cleaning the room, Prabhupada would sit in the extreme end of the room so that she can clean without sitting in the middle. And when Prabhupada saw that in the kitchen there is some work to do, so he said, I will cut sabji and I will assist. One of the days Prabhupada said, if you both of you like, I will cook and give you. So Sally Agarwal, Gopal Agarwal, they ate Prabhupada's prasadam. They liked it so much. Swamiji, every day you can make for us also. They said he started cooking for them every day. Slowly, that Sally Agarwal, that lady who was very much unhappy in the beginning, gradually seeing Swamiji's good nature, she developed such a fatherly affection and respect for him. After 2 or 3 months when Prabhupada left Gopal Agarwal family to go to another place, they were practically in tears to miss his association. So what do we learn from Prabhupada? Sometimes for preaching purpose, we have to adopt tolerance. And we have to adopt patience, tolerance, and we have to reduce our expectations. If Prabhupada was throwing expectations on Eva, Eva would tell Carl, today only remove Swamiji. Correct, no? So Prabhupada knew that if I have to hang around, stay, and till find a new place, he was ready. But later on, when it became too intolerable for her, nowadays also sometimes a bahu comes to a home, and within 1 week she gets tired. She tells her husband, let's go to London. let's fly to London. We can't stay with your sas and sasur and all. People say like that. Because nowadays people have very little patience and tolerance, correct, no? They want everything should be like this, should be like this, should be like, not like this, not like that. So, when there is a mismatch of culture, like it happened between Eva and Prabhupada, Prabhupada took although he was very elderly and he had a good need for a facility, but he tolerated, he was patient, he was reducing his expectation. So, if you want to become preachers, there's so much to learn from Prabhupada. That's why Lilamrita is a very outstanding book. Preaching is not just sitting in Vyasasana and giving a big lecture. We have to cultivate the qualities that will be needed for us to be able to transform the hearts of people. At one point of time, Prabhupada saw Carl is very interested, but his wife is not. And they are finding my presence like a nuisance. So he was very pragmatic. When Carl said to Prabhupada, Swamiji, we will find out another place for you. And Prabhupada said, no problem. You all find another place, I'm ready to move from there. He didn't insist. No, I will just stay here and make sure your wife is transformed fully. Because he understood that she has a materialistic disposition, not willing to change. And Carl is also suffering because of that. Then Prabhupada agreed to go to another place. And then, he continued with his journey of preaching. Wherever there was support coming, wherever people were interested, whoever was willing to follow the pure path, Prabhupada was ready to give them Krishna consciousness. Curiously anticipating what is Krishna planning ahead. Krishna has some plan for me in America. That was his mood. He was not thinking that I will do something great and show to the world and I will get applause from the whole world. That was not his mood. He was not a passionate preacher, he was a compassionate preacher. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Radheshyam Prabhuji ki